Carrie Morgan was Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan. She described witnessing Combs assaulting Cassie twice.
Cassie for 17 years, but things went sour after she alleged that Diddy beat her with a wooden coat hanger and she signed an NDA.
Did a single moment in court make Diddy lose all composure? You won't believe what set him off when Carrie Morgan, Cassie's best friend, took the stand.
Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan. She described witnessing Combs assaulting Cassie twice. The first time in a home Combs was renting in the Hollywood Hills. Morgan testified that, quote, "I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her." The second time allegedly happened in Jamaica. Morgan says they were in the bar area of a home when, quote, "I heard her screaming." She recalled guttural, terrifying screams. Combs faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted. He's pleaded not guilty and has denied all wrongdoing.
The courtroom is packed, a sea of tense faces, reporters, family members, and curious onlookers. The air hums with anticipation. Sean Diddy Combs, 55, sits at the defense table, impeccably dressed but visibly strained, his eyes darting between his lawyers, Mark A. Filo and Anna Estevao. Across the room, the prosecution table is led by Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson, sharp and composed. The judge, a stern figure, presides over the room. A court sketch artist scribbles furiously. Asterisk. Judge, adjusting glasses. The prosecution may call their next witness. Emily Johnson rises, her voice steady but commanding. Asterisk. Emily Johnson. The prosecution calls Ms. Lauren Carter to the stand. Murmurs ripple through the courtroom. Lauren Carter, 38, Cassie Ventura's best friend, steps forward. She's poised but carries a weight in her eyes, as if the words she's about to speak have been bottled up for years.
Carrie Morgan was on the stand. That was Cassie Ventura's former best friend. What did Carrie say happened after that incident?
Cassie Ventura left the Intercontinental Hotel, went back to her apartment, her home, and there was Carrie Morgan waiting. She said immediately she saw the black eye that Ventura had testified Combs gave her after the freak-off got violent, and the whole reason why then the subsequent assault in the hallway happened. And then Carrie Morgan said about a half hour later, Sean Combs starts banging on the door with a hammer. It was not let in, but she said she heard him yelling, finally called some of Combs' staff members to try to get him to leave. Police were called, but Cassie Ventura said, and Carrie Morgan backed this up, that nothing ever came of it because Cassie Ventura refused to say anything about Sean Combs and what happened to her.
Aaron, I have to ask you, because Combs was sitting just feet away from Don Richard and Carrie Morgan in court today. How did he react to seeing them and hearing all of this?
He's been an attentive listener. In some cases, he would shake his head or nod along or consult with his lawyers, scribbling a lot of notes. This was an important part of the testimony because it made a turn, Eva. The jury had heard from Cassie Ventura directly about, in rather explicit terms, a lot of the sex acts. But the prosecution's whole case is that she was coerced into that sex because of the violence, the kind of violence that both Don Richard and Carrie Morgan said they witnessed. Now, the defense says there are other reasons for the violence. Jealousy, drugs, didn't have anything to do with coercing her into sex. But the prosecutors want the jury to hear these accounts to say that Cassie Ventura was not only telling the truth about being beat up, but that she had reason to then go along with Sean Combs' sexual demands.
She takes the oath, her voice trembling slightly. Asterisk. Bailiff, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Lauren Carter, I do. Lauren sits, glancing briefly at Cassie Ventura, who is seated in the gallery, 8 months pregnant, her husband Alex Fine by her side. Cassie's face is unreadable, but her hands clutch Alex's tightly. Asterisk. Emily Johnson, Ms. Carter, can you state your relationship to Ms. Cassandra Ventura? Lauren Carter, Cassie's been my best friend since we were teenagers. We've been through everything together, her career, her relationships, everything. Diddy shifts in his seat, his jaw tightening. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, whispers something to him, but Diddy's eyes are locked on Lauren.
Already mentioned the second witness today, Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan. What did Carrie have to say?
So let me tell you, Carrie Morgan is crucial, and she came crucial because she comes off as credible. Because one of the first statements that she made is that she came here because she was compelled to testify. She no longer speaks to Cassie Ventura. They stopped talking in 2018 after this incident having to deal with where she was assaulted by Sean Combs, where Sean Combs grabbed her by the neck and also threw a wooden hanger at her, but also that it led to Cassie giving her $30,000 so she wouldn't say anything about that specific incident, and that was the end of their relationship. She also corroborated 2 of the assaults that took place, having to deal with Cassie in terms of her being drugged and as well as her being punched. So she corroborated a lot of the testimony, but she came off as a neutral witness, and the defense wasn't able to break her as they wanted to, but was able to say that, look, it was still a loving relationship.
Emily Johnson, can you describe what you witnessed regarding Ms. Ventura's relationship with Mr. Combs between 2007 and 2018? Lauren takes a deep breath, her voice steadying. Asterisk, Lauren Carter. I saw Cassie change. She was vibrant, full of dreams when she met Sean. But over time, she became smaller. Scared. He controlled everything. Her music, her clothes, who she could talk to. I'd get calls from her, late at night, crying, saying she couldn't leave him. She said he'd hurt her if she tried. The courtroom is silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Diddy's hands clench into fists on the table. Asterisk, Emily Johnson, can you be specific about any incidents you witnessed? Lauren Carter, in 2016, I was at a party at his house in LA. Cassie was there, but she wasn't herself. She was shaky, pale. I pulled her aside, and she told me Sean had hit her earlier that night. She showed me bruises on her arm, finger marks, like someone grabbed her too hard.
And I will say, I think she seemed to say things very matter of fact. There were definitely moments where there was a little bit of what I would call sass, which I didn't think was a bad thing. I think she represented herself very well, and I felt as I read what was being said, she seems like a very credible witness. I think this is going to be one that may stick out in the jury's mind because she was subpoenaed to be here. She is speaking in defense of Cassie, but at the same time, she was also very hurt by Cassie.
Yeah.
And the way that it all came out was very honest. So it's definitely an interesting one to go through.
Yeah, I mean, she's giving a perspective that it feels more like, I don't give a crap about any of these people, so I'm going to give it to you straight. I've moved on from all this, but let's go do it. And not really throwing Cassie under the bus anyway, but
no,
clearly doing it more honestly. So, so she made it clear she was only there because of the subpoena. And she confirmed that she and Cassie, who met on a modeling shoot as teenagers, no longer speak because Ventura's boyfriend ate her. Now, was this Agnifilo the Costco lawyer did end up doing this or not?
Yes, Mark Agnifilo, or as we lovingly call him, the Costco lawyer.
Because it's just funny, there's this buildup of he's finally going to do something during this trial. It was our first chance to see Costco lawyer step up to the stand, Kim, right? So
we'll get
as we go through, let's see how he does, yeah?
Yeah. It was fascinating.
She begged me not to say anything. She said he'd ruin her career, her life. Diddy slams his hand on the table, a sharp crack echoing through the room. The judge glares. Asterisk, Judge, Mr. Combs, control yourself, or you'll be held in contempt. Diddy nods curtly, but his breathing is heavy, his eyes blazing. Asterisk, Mark Agnifilo. Rising. Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay. Ms. Carter wasn't present for the alleged incident. Emily Johnson. Your Honor, Ms. Carter is testifying to what she directly observed and what Ms. Ventura confided in her, which is admissible under the excited utterance exception. Judge. Overruled. Continue, Ms. Johnson. Lauren's eyes flicker to Cassie, who gives a small nod of encouragement. Asterisk. Emily Johnson. Ms. Carter, did you ever witness any other disturbing behavior from Mr. Combs toward Ms. Ventura? Lauren Carter. Yes. In 2017, I was with Cassie in New York. Sean showed up at her apartment unannounced. He was furious, screaming about how she'd disrespected him by talking to another producer. He grabbed her phone, smashed it against the wall. I tried to step in, but his security pushed me out. Later, Cassie told me he'd forced her into those freak-offs. She said she didn't want to, but he'd threaten her, make her feel like she had no choice. The courtroom erupts in gasps. Reporters scribble furiously. Diddy stands, his chair scraping back. Asterisk.
You two were best friends for 18 years, but now you haven't spoken with her since 2018. That's true. At the danger of being capital obvious, that's a long time. She's moved on. Objection. Why haven't you spoken with her? She did not support me after Sean assaulted me. I try that line at assault. I don't know what that means. Oh, I think it means I set the line at assault. I don't cross the line of assault or whatever. You reached a settlement with Miss Ventura? The money came from Mr. Combs. So this was after, I believe, she was assaulted by Diddy. That that in order to hush her up, Diddy gave her some money, or they settled it, however it is. That's a pattern that seems to be happening with him throughout the decades. So Agnifilo shows Carrie Morgan photos, then asks, do you know if Louise Hayes is a self-help author about self-affirmation? Yes. Why did you send him this with words of encouragement? I don't remember sending it. Okay. I want to show you a few more photos. But first, let's talk about the incident where he put his hands on your neck. Were you and Cassie using any drugs at the time? No. What did he say? He said, who is she cheating with? You went to an urgent care and not the hospital, right? Like she's saying just right as the answer. But you told the prosecutors it was bloody and you went to the hospital. I don't remember that. Look at this. And so this is material not shown to the jury. I see that I said that. Now in this, I think it's like now in cross-examination. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. I see that I said that. Do you remember Mr. Agnifilo asking you about an incident in LA? Objection, overruled. And he hit her like in Jamaica, arguing. Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back. So they were doing right here. Agnifilo is Diddy's attorney. That's why I wasn't understanding. So they did the cross. All right. So now this is the prosecutors again asking her questions. They get to come back up. So that's who's asking. That's just like, why is Agnifilo asking a question about himself?
Diddy, voice breaking. That's a lie. I never forced her. She wanted it. She, Mark Agnifilo. Pulling Diddy down. Sean, sit down. Now, Judge, sternly. Mr. Combs, one more outburst, and you'll be removed. Ms. Carter, continue. Lauren's voice cracks, but she pushes forward. Asterisk. Lauren Carter. Cassie told me about the videos. He'd record those sessions. She said he'd play them back to her, show them to others, like it was a trophy. She was terrified he'd leak them. That's why she stayed so long. She felt trapped. Diddy's head drops into his hands. His children, seated in the gallery, look away, their faces etched with pain. Asterisk. Emily Johnson. Ms. Carter, did Ms. Ventura ever mention anything about Mr. Combs' associates? Lauren Carter. Yes. She said his team, security, assistants, knew everything. They'd arrange the escorts, the drugs, the rooms. It was like a machine. She said they'd stand by while he hurt her, like it was normal. The prosecution's racketeering argument hangs heavy in the air. Emily Johnson nods, satisfied. Asterisk. Emily Johnson. No further questions, Your Honor. Anna Estevao rises for cross-examination, her tone sharp. Asterisk. Anna Estevao. Ms. Carter, you claim to be Ms. Ventura's best friend, yet you never reported these alleged incidents to the police. Why? Lauren Carter. I wanted to, but Cassie begged me not to. She was scared of what he'd do, to her, to me. He had so much power. Anna Estevao. So, you're relying on memories from years ago, with no corroborating evidence. Isn't it possible Ms. Ventura exaggerated to gain your sympathy? Lauren Carter. Firmly. No, I saw the bruises. I heard her screams. I held her while she cried. You don't forget that. The courtroom is electric. Diddy's face is a mask of anguish, his hands trembling. Asterisk. Anna Estevao. You mentioned these freak-offs. Isn't it true Ms. Ventura participated willingly, as evidenced by text messages where she engaged in explicit conversations with Mr. Combs? Lauren hesitates, her eyes darting to Cassie. Asterisk. Lauren Carter. Those texts. Cassie told me she wrote what he wanted to hear. She was trying to survive. You don't understand what it's like to live in fear like that. Anna Estevao smirks, sensing a crack. Asterisk. Anna Estevao. No further questions. The judge calls for a recess. Diddy remains seated, staring at the table, as the courtroom empties. Cassie and Alex exit, her hand on her pregnant belly. Lauren steps down, avoiding Diddy's gaze. The weight of her testimony lingers. Asterisk. Reporters swarm, cameras flashing. Alex comforts Cassie, who looks strained but resolute. Lauren joins them, and they embrace, a silent bond of survival. Asterisk. Thank you, Lauren, I know that wasn't easy. Lauren Carter. Tearing up. I should have done more back then. I'm doing it now. Across the hall, Diddy's children huddle with his lawyers. Diddy emerges, his face a storm of emotions, anger, fear, regret. He locks eyes with Cassie for a moment before his team ushers him away. Asterisk. In a trial that has shaken the music industry, the testimony of those closest to the truth, like Lauren Carter, may determine whether Sean Combs faces justice or walks free. But for Cassie Ventura, and those who stood by her, the scars of the past remain, no matter the